Legendary Kiss guitarist Ace Frehley has died at the age of 74. He had suffered a fall and a brain bleed last month. His family was at his bedside.
The rock world is still reeling from the devastating loss of Ace Frehley.
I have nothing against Tommy. I'm friends with Tommy. I used to be our road manager. Believe it or not, I don't know if everybody knows that.
The original spaceman of Kiss, whose electrifying guitar solos and wild stage presence helped define one of the greatest rock bands of all time. But now, after weeks of silence, fellow guitarist and longtime Kiss member Tommy Thayer has finally spoken out. And what he revealed has left fans completely heartbroken. For years, Tommy and Ace shared a complicated connection. When Tommy took over Ace's legendary spaceman persona, it divided the Kiss fan base. Some accepted him, while others never forgave the band for replacing a founding member. Yet, behind the scenes, there was more respect and emotion between the two than anyone realized. And now, after Ace's tragic passing, Tommy's words have revealed a side of their story that fans never knew existed. In a moving message shared online, Tommy spoke about the pain of losing not just a bandmate, but a man whose influence shaped his own career. His confession, raw, emotional, and deeply personal, caught everyone off guard. Without Ace, Tommy said, there would be no me in Kiss. He created the magic we all tried to keep alive. For millions of fans, those words hit hard. The rivalry, the controversy, the years of tension. Suddenly, none of it mattered. What remained was a powerful reminder that beneath the makeup and fame, these were human beings bound by music, history, and respect. Ace Frehley wasn't just a guitarist, he was a phenomenon. Born in 1951 in New York, Ace became one of the defining faces of Kiss, a band that transformed rock music forever. With his wild silver and black makeup, explosive guitar solos, and a stage presence that seemed almost otherworldly, Ace earned the nickname the Spaceman, a fitting moniker for someone whose talent and charisma felt light years ahead of his time. But behind the glittering exterior and sold-out arenas, Ace's life was far more complicated, filled with struggles, conflicts, and personal battles that shaped the man fans loved. From the beginning, Ace was known for his fearless individuality. Unlike other band members who focused on business or image, Ace let his music speak louder than anything else. He poured his soul into every riff, every solo, and every note, creating a signature sound that would influence generations of guitarists. But his rebellious streak often clashed with the band's structure, leading to tensions that sometimes boiled over on stage and off. Those close to him recall a man who could be both brilliant and volatile, a genius wrapped in a storm of emotions. Tommy Thayer entered Ace's world years later, first as a fan, then as a musician who would eventually step into Ace's shoes. When Tommy officially took over the spaceman persona, some fans were divided. Many saw him as an imposter, while others admired his dedication to keeping Ace's legacy alive. It wasn't an easy role to fill. Ace wasn't just a guitarist, he was a symbol, an icon whose shadow loomed large over the band and the rock world at large. Yet Tommy approached it with reverence, understanding the immense responsibility on his shoulders. Behind the scenes, the relationship between Ace and Tommy was complicated. While public perception often painted a picture of rivalry or distance, insiders have revealed moments of genuine respect and mentorship. Tommy has always acknowledged that Ace opened doors for him, inspiring him to pursue music with the same intensity and passion that defined the original spaceman. And despite any tension, there was an unspoken bond. Two musicians who understood the highs and lows of life on the stage, the pressures of fame, and the sacrifices required to succeed. Ace's passing sent shockwaves through the music community. Fans flooded social media with tributes, sharing memories of concerts, albums, and personal encounters. But for Tommy, the loss was deeply personal. In his first public statement since Ace's death, He didn't speak as a performer or a bandmate. He spoke as someone who had shared the stage, the pressure, and the legacy of one of rock's most influential figures. His words were raw, filled with sorrow and gratitude. "Ace Frehley changed my life," he said. "He gave me a path, a dream, and a chance to be part of something bigger than myself. Losing him feels like losing a brother." Fans were stunned. The long silence, the anticipation, and the history between the two men made Tommy's statement even more powerful. It was a reminder that behind the makeup, the guitars, and the legendary performances, there were human connections, friendships, mentorships, and bonds that went far beyond public image. Ace Frehley's life was marked by brilliance and tragedy, and Tommy Thayer's words helped shine a light on the human side of that story. They reminded fans that fame and artistry are only part of the equation. Respect, loyalty, and love between musicians are what endure when the applause fades and the lights go down. After Ace Frehley's passing, the world saw the loss of a rock legend. But for Tommy Thayer, it was the end of a deeply personal chapter. For years, Tommy had walked a fine line between honoring Ace's legacy and carving out his own identity in Kiss. Stepping into the iconic spaceman persona was never simple. It required immense skill, confidence, and humility. And yet, he never lost sight of the fact that Ace had paved the way for him. Behind the leather, makeup, and stage theatrics was a relationship rooted in respect, admiration, and shared understanding of what it meant to be a Kiss guitarist. Tommy has described moments when Ace's influence was unmistakable. In rehearsals, he would study Ace's solos, mimic his phrasing, and learn the nuances that made the spaceman truly unforgettable. But more than technical skill, it was Ace's spirit, his energy, his unpredictability, and his refusal to follow the rules. That inspired Tommy. He knew that stepping into Ace's role wasn't about replacing him. It was about keeping a legacy alive for millions of fans around the world. The grief Tommy felt after Ace's death was compounded by the complicated history they shared. Public perception often portrayed tension or even resentment between them, but those who knew both men insisted that there was more beneath the surface. Ace was a mentor in many ways, even if his methods were unconventional. He pushed Tommy to be better, to take risks, and to understand that being part of Kiss was about more than fame. It was about passion, dedication, and the responsibility of carrying a legacy forward. In his first public statement since Ace's death, Tommy expressed emotions that fans had never heard from him before. He spoke about the heartbreak, the gratitude, and the weight of carrying Ace's mantle. "I feel the loss every day," Tommy admitted. Ace was more than a bandmate. He was a friend, a teacher, and an inspiration. "I hope I've honored him the way he deserved." The sincerity in his voice resonated deeply with fans, many of whom had only seen the rock star bravado, and never the vulnerability of the man behind the makeup. Friends close to both musicians revealed that Tommy spent countless hours after Ace's death reflecting on their history, the tours, the backstage moments, and the laughter that often went unseen. He pored over old footage of Ace performing, revisiting solos and iconic stage moments, trying to capture the essence of what made the spaceman unique. Every note, every riff, became a tribute to the man who had defined an era of rock. Ace's influence was also evident in Tommy's personal growth as a musician. Taking on the spaceman role forced him to confront his own limits, push his creativity, and develop resilience under immense scrutiny. Fans who had criticized him for years began to see a deeper side of Tommy after his emotional tribute, a side shaped by respect, dedication, and a profound understanding of what Ace meant to both Kiss and rock history. The statement left fans in shock, not only for its emotional depth but for the honesty it carried. It reminded the world that beyond the spectacle of makeup, guitars, and sold-out arenas, there was a story of mentorship, loyalty, and human connection. Tommy Thayer's words helped the world see Ace Frehley not just as a rock legend, but as a man whose life and legacy touched countless others in ways fans could never fully comprehend. Through this tribute, Tommy also reminded the world of something essential. Legacy isn't just about the music you leave behind. It's about the impact you have on the people around you, the lives you shape, the inspiration you give, and the respect you command long after the final note has been played. Tommy Thayer's tribute to Ace Frehley didn't just shock fans. It also revealed the depth of the personal bond they shared, a side of their relationship that the public rarely saw. While on stage they were rock icons, behind the scenes they were two musicians bound by history, passion, and a shared understanding of what it meant to be part of Kiss. Ace's influence on Tommy went far beyond riffs and solos. He shaped the very way Tommy approached music, performance, and life itself. Those close to both men have spoken about the quiet moments of mentorship that occurred over the years. Ace, despite his reputation for being unpredictable and sometimes volatile, often offered guidance in subtle ways. He taught Tommy about timing, about connecting with the audience, and about the emotional honesty required to make music truly resonate. It wasn't always easy. Ace could be blunt, critical, and impatient, but every lesson came from a place of respect. Tommy has repeatedly said that he owes much of his musical growth to these moments, and in his statement, he made it clear that Ace's impact on him was immeasurable. Ace's death also brought a wave of reflection for Tommy on the pressures of fame and the sacrifices that come with being a rock star. He spoke about the long tours, the grueling schedules, and the constant demand to maintain perfection on stage. Ace had always been larger than life, a man who thrived under the spotlight but struggled in private. Tommy admitted that seeing Ace's vulnerabilities reminded him of his own, the isolation, the pressure, and the constant battle to live up to expectations. It was a lesson in empathy, one that he now carries forward as he honors Ace's memory. The public reaction to Tommy's statement was overwhelming. Fans, many of whom had long debated the dynamics between the two guitarists, were suddenly confronted with a raw, emotional perspective. They saw Tommy not as a replacement for Ace, but as a man grappling with loss, gratitude, and respect. His words made clear that Ace's legacy was not only about his guitar skills or his stage persona, but also about the inspiration he provided to those who came after him. Tommy also revealed moments of personal connection that fans had never known. He spoke about conversations they shared about life, music, and the responsibility of being part of something bigger than themselves. Ace had confided in Tommy, trusted him with stories of his struggles, and even offered advice about navigating fame and personal relationships. In many ways, Tommy's role as the spaceman became less about performing and more about preserving a friendship and mentorship that had defined a significant part of his life. In reflecting on Ace's life, Tommy expressed a deep sense of gratitude. He acknowledged the mistakes, the tensions, and the disagreements that had sometimes marked their interactions, but he emphasized that those moments were overshadowed by respect, admiration, and love. Ace changed my life in ways I can't even put into words, Tommy said. He pushed me, inspired me, and showed me what it meant to be part of something eternal. I will carry that with me forever. Ultimately, Tommy's tribute serves as a reminder that behind every iconic rock persona is a human being with fears, dreams, and relationships that shape who they are. Ace Frehley may have been larger than life, but his legacy is just as much about the lives he touched, including Tommy Thayer's, as it is about the music he created. Through this heartfelt statement, fans were given a glimpse of the true bond between two musicians, one that went beyond stage makeup, solos, and fame. In the days following Ace Frehley's death, the music world felt a collective emptiness. Fans mourned, Tributes poured in from around the globe, and the legacy of one of rock's most electrifying guitarists was remembered in every corner of the industry. But for Tommy Thayer, the loss was intensely personal. Behind the makeup, the theatrics, and the public image, he had known Ace in ways that few ever did. As a mentor, a friend, and a guiding force in his own musical journey. Tommy has spoken candidly about the impact Ace had on him, emphasizing that stepping into the spaceman persona was never about replacing him. It was about honoring his spirit, his contributions, and the music he helped create. Ace was irreplaceable, Tommy said in a heartfelt statement. I can never replicate what he brought to Kiss, but I hope I can carry forward the essence of what he taught me: passion, dedication, and the courage to be yourself. Those words resonated with fans because they revealed a level of respect and humility that had rarely been seen publicly. Friends and insiders have described Tommy's mourning process as deeply reflective. He spent hours revisiting old footage of Ace's performances, listening to his solos, and remembering the moments they shared on stage and backstage. Every note, every riff, every spontaneous improvisation became a testament to Ace's genius and the unique energy he brought to the band. It was both a tribute and a source of comfort, allowing Tommy to process the enormity of the loss while celebrating the life of a man who had profoundly influenced him. The Kiss community also rallied around Tommy, recognizing the weight of his words and the significance of his statement. Fellow band members praised his honesty and courage, noting that he captured the complex emotions of losing someone who was not only a colleague, but also a figure who had shaped his path. Fans, too, were moved. Many expressed that they finally understood the deep connection between Tommy and Ace, beyond the stage makeup, beyond the personas, and beyond the public disputes that had sometimes clouded their relationship. Tommy's tribute highlighted the human side of rock stardom. Fame, stage personas, and legendary performances often overshadow the personal relationships that truly define the experience. For Tommy, Ace was not just a bandmate or an icon. He was a mentor who taught him the nuances of performance, the dedication required to succeed, and the resilience needed to survive in an unforgiving industry. His grief was intertwined with gratitude, admiration, and a profound sense of responsibility to carry Ace's legacy forward. Even in his sorrow, Tommy has made it clear that Ace's influence will endure. He continues to perform, write, and engage with fans, always carrying a piece of Ace's spirit in every note. This emotional honesty has not only reassured fans, but also cemented Tommy's role as a custodian of one of rock music's most iconic legacies. In the end, Tommy Thayer's words serve as a powerful reminder that behind every legendary figure are the people whose lives they touch. Ace Frehley's music, charisma, and stage presence may have made him immortal to the world, but his mentorship, friendship, and impact on Tommy reveal a legacy even richer, one built on connection, inspiration, and respect. As fans continue to mourn, Tommy's tribute ensures that Ace's spirit lives on, not just in the music, but in the hearts of those who knew him best, and will never forget the man behind the spaceman.